stuck here. The cops won't bother me. First crash. Alright guys, this is my review of my 2005 Suzuki dl650. This one's a little bit modded up. Not too terribly modded up. You can see there's some rash over there. It's got givey bags. Those are very handy to have. I also have this to carry tools at. And of course I got my dark side tire, which is a car tire. Yeah, not a lot of stuff going on. I do have the Denali auxiliary lights. Doesn't really help with lighting the road, but it looks kind of cool. And I have the Magstad windscreen that I find very, very cool to have because it's adjustable. And of course I have some stuff up here. Heated grips, which are adjusted right here on this. It's from Cycle Gear, so it's kind of cheap. I got a GPS. Let me see what else I have up here. Yeah, just wires running through. I have a center stand, which is a recent addition to the bike. Let's go for a ride and talk a little bit more about the V-Strom. My bike has just hit 50,000 miles, and I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the dl650 and if the dl650 is the right bike for you. This is the first generation of V-Strom. The V-Strom started out in 2004 in the United States, and after that, 2005, that's what I'm riding. Increased the wheelbase, so basically that means that it's a little bit more comfortable of a bike. And in 2010 they increased the alternator from 375 to 400, so that made it a little bit better for riding long distances. V-Strom 650 is a V-twin, and it also has about 60 horsepower. I'm not that big of a fan of V-twins, but this bike, riding it makes me really admire it, because I do own another V-twin, and that's a old Africa Twin, and that bike is way too heavy compared to this. It's a 750 from 1995, so of course it's going to be older technology, but I would rather have this engine in the Africa Twin. That's how good these engines are, and this thing is fuel injected, and it's also a 6-speed transmission. In a perfect world, Suzuki would make this a shaft drive option. I really would like to have a bike that I didn't have to do a lot of maintenance on the chain. The suspension is pretty adequate on this bike, but it is a little lacking when it comes to riding 2-up. I do find that if you're riding aggressively 2-up on roads like this with a little bit more twisty, it seems like the bottom end of the bike wants to bottom out. And the front forks, they're conventional forks, and I've fixed the fork seals already once, and I'm about to do it again on the bike. I think it's a very weak spot on the bike, the fork seals. But it's a given that Suzuki is not going to give the dl650 great suspension because it is a budget bike. But there are some great changes that you can do. You can get some stiffer springs from Racetech, and you could put the Racetech emulator in the front. I think I am going to do that when I do the fork seals again on the bike. Right now I have a temporary fix, but I will do the gold emulator just because I've never used Racetech's gold emulator, and people who use it really like it. The handlebars, they're a pretty comfortable position for me. I am 5'9", 165 pounds, and this feels like a very comfortable position. There's no leaning in. It sits where I think makes this bike a great commuter. It's just a very good width. It's not too wide, not too narrow. I've heard of people complaining that the handlebars are a little bit too narrow, but I don't see that. The gas tank is a 5.8 gallon gas tank, so not quite 6 gallons. And you can generally get about 50 to 60 miles to the gallon on the bike. Very economical bike for a V-twin. Normally V-twins are not economical. They're a little bit more high-strung, it seems. And that's, I think, one of the reasons I stayed away from V-twins, is because I like cars and motorcycles that are efficient. The mirrors, God, this lady is really going slow. I don't know if there's a cop behind me, but I'm thinking about passing this. It's funny how you profile people. It's a Toyota Solara convertible, so it must be a woman, but that's a decent car. Come on, lady, you're going 29 miles an hour now. 27, 26. I will go through a crappier area just to avoid you, lady. Alright, I'm going to adjust the idle. See if I can get this. I don't like the idle to be too high. Let's see. It's at 1. That's pretty good. I'm a big fan of these Priuses. They're probably some of the best vehicles on the road. And you see their hatchback style? That means that's increased utility. Monte Carlo. That's not a piece of shit you see every day. Look at that scooter, Chinese scooter. Oh, where is he going? Oh, towards Oxon Hill. That's very surprising. One of the things I really like about cars these days is their mirror blind spot detection. I think that's really going to work well with accidents. I think it's going to reduce the number of accidents, even for motorcyclists. Because oftentimes, I'll ride past and I'll see the light that they do sense me as a motorcyclist in their mirror, which it's such a great idea.